Welcome back to On Deck Circle Podcast, brought to you by the Fantasy Six Pack. I am your glistening host. I just got off from making some chicken on the Blackstone. The heat was in my face for the last 15, 20 minutes, so I am hot. I do have a cold beverage, so that's exciting for me. Jason, it's been a bit. How the hell you been, buddy?
Good, man. We had a lot of stuff to talk about, so many things to talk about. So much time has passed since last time we not only potted, but last time we went live. Yep. I mean, so much to talk about. We had recaps on our personal leagues. We've got MLB All-Star. We're about 110 games into the MLB season. It's All-Star week. What better time than to have a nice reset and talk about the MLB draft, Dynasty prospect outlooks, things like that. So I'm happy, man. I'm happy to be back in live in the flesh.
Oh, yeah. And what a way to start it than something that has absolutely nothing to do with baseball at all. And that is my cold open question of the week. Jason, this is going to lead to something that I want to talk about. So I want you to tell me, is there an obscure sport that you've grown to love in your, like, outside of the top four? So like hockey, basketball, football, and baseball that you've grown to enjoy in your adulthood? So something you weren't like born into, just kind of something you found that you now are into. All right?
Sure. Yep.
3, 2, 1, go. All right, Jason. So what do we got?
Well, I got a couple questions, follow-up questions to your question. Is this something that I've come to watch or play or?
I would say watch. So this isn't like I got really into cornhole.
Unless
cornhole.
No. So I've really gotten into. I was gonna say because I gotten into pickleball.
Oh yes, Jason.
And that's. Dude, we went and got a. It's perfect. I have a family of 4. We play a bunch of mixed doubles with the kids.
I love
it's been
that.
Awesome. It's been awesome.
That's great. But that's not the answer that I want.
Yeah. No, so this is actually kind of funny because I don't know what, I'm sure you guys have the same thing. It's Nesson, right? Where it's you have one channel where it's just basically the Red Sox. So we have that here now with Marquee Network, is it's the Cubs network. Well, the Cubs only play, 162 games a year. And only once a day, 3 hours a day. So we got to figure out something else to put on this channel. And I found myself finding and watching Ultimate Frisbee League, UFL.
Okay.
Chicago has a team. A lot of the cities have teams. And I don't know why. It's just very casual. I remember playing Ultimate Frisbee in gym and even a little bit in college. It was one of those things where it's fun to play. It wasn't super fun to watch, but now I'm just for some reason finding myself watching this random sport of Ultimate Frisbee. I was shocked to find that there's a professional league that plays on, the Chicago League plays at Northwestern College. So they use that college stadium to play, which is kind of awkward and weird, but that's my answer. I'm going to go with.
All right. Jason, I don't know how long this is going to last for. Said that before, but I saw the new F1 movie.
Okay.
Brad Pitt.
Yep.
Phenomenal film. Please go see it.
Okay.
I'm all in.
On F1?
Yep. I've made the decision. I've watched 3 episodes of Drive to Survive on Netflix.
Sure. How many races have you watched?
The next big race is next weekend. I'm going to be tuning in. It's at 9 p.m. in Belgium. I have no idea what I'm doing, but this is exciting because it's not often in life where you can find a professional league to be excited about. So
Right.
we're going to see what happens. I don't know if this is going to be a one-time thing,
Right.
or but if Brad Pitt's job was to sell the sport of F1, he succeeded.
Yeah, that F1, NASCAR, those are I just cannot get into motor racing.
Not at
I have
all.
no desire to watch a car go around in a track like 100
Nope.
times. If it was like a drag race, maybe, but even then, it's like 1 or 2 drag races, I'm out.
Yeah. So what I learned, and again, I don't know if this is actually true because it is from the movie, but like
Okay.
so F1, so like me and you would be on a team in F1,
Oh, sure.
and you could like cause an accident. Like you could like tap the person so then they crash and then I pass them. There's like actual strategy to it.
Yeah.
I went so far in that I watched a few reviews of the EA Sports F1 video game, and I'm like,
Oh, man.
yeah.
This
So
guy's down the rabbit hole for sure.
down the rabbit hole.
He's
Off
all
topic,
in.
Speaking of EA Sports, did you get college football?
Of course. Although I didn't pay for early access.
Yes, no.
And then I don't know whose genius idea it was to make it come out on a Thursday at noon, but I have a family and kids, so I did not play much over the weekend. So tonight, I am prompting up to play some more Dynasty.
Yeah, I have 2 work from home days in a row. So
I know what you're doing. Yeah.
Let's hope the mayor's not watching on Desert podcast. All right.
Well, it is a baseball podcast. Let's get into some of this stuff we're going to talk about here. Again, the MLB amateur draft just concluded yesterday. I know if you've been following the draft for a long time, it was kind of in the past, it's been very overwhelming. However, I do really love the new format since it came out after 2020, the COVID years. We're now down to just 20 rounds. It's still a little overwhelming, I think, for a casual, baseball fan, but 20 rounds, you can kind of look through and still be like, okay, some of these guys you may have heard of, or you can see in the lower minors and coming up soon. There's no more 39th round pick and things like that. So before we get into some of the details, I want to give you some of my takeaways that I got from watching the draft. Some of my just overall takeaways. And the first one of that is, where were the players? Why do we not have
None.
Why do we not have play? I'm not saying you have to have all top 30.
Give me just the top 5.
Even 10
projected
guys. Yeah. Which they've done in the past, and they had done for a long time now. And I don't know, even last year they had the players there, right? And they always have it in the city where they've coincided it with the All-Star break and the All-Star game. It comes out, it's perfect timing. It's on Sunday night. Most all the baseball games played on Sunday during the day. Everyone tunes in on Sunday night to watch the draft. They've gotten a really good job of making these steps year to year and getting it in the limelight. And then to all of a sudden just come back and now take away the players, now walking across the stage and holding up a jersey. I know it's cliche and things like that, but if you want to try and grow this game and grow the outlook of your draft and your minor league system and these young players, get them out there on the draft, hugging the commissioner and things like that. So that was my first takeaway. Bring the players back. I didn't quite understand why that was gone. That was weird to me. Second
Jason,
thing I thought,
can I just go off of something?
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's funny that you mentioned that, because I came up with an idea over the weekend. Give me MLB's top prospects versus the draft prospects for the future.
That's cool.
And then have X amount of people there. I don't think a GM is going to make their decision off of this game, but it could help your draft stock in some way.
Yeah.
Even just opt into it. So if someone's no, I don't want to do that.
Right.
Fine. But just feel the team, have those incoming players play the game's top prospects. And then it's kind of you're getting these guys on a national scale. And even if you're tuning in for that one game and you're oh, this Kade Anderson He pitched 1 inning because the majority of the people that watch the MLB, I'm going to say, do not watch college baseball. Me and you, I'm not going to speak for you. I don't watch college baseball. I'll like tune in if it's on.
Right.
But like I couldn't pick these guys out of a lineup. So I think putting them on that national stage on this big weekend in sports, throw one in the fucking home run derby. That was a joke last night.
Yeah.
Just like get these guys in front of America more on your platform and not NCAAs. That's all.
And that's a good point because I don't think we're that far off either, right? Like we started getting right. They have the draft combine now, which has now been buried on MLB Network, like during the day, Thursday and Friday, I think, of last week. So we're not that far off of it. So you're already getting those MLB prospects, or sorry, the draft prospects playing each other in these games and doing the draft combine. Take it one step further and have some sort of, like I said, futures game where like the prospects play the current minor league prospects. I think that's a great idea. It would kind of show a little bit more, get them some more access to the draft prospects versus some of these younger minor league. Speaking of which, did you watch any of the futures game? Bit of a snooze fest.
I did not watch it all. No.
I watched most of it. It was a lot of pitching domination. The only thing that really exciting happened was Joshua DePaul had a 3-run home run, and that was basically the difference of the game.
He was the MVP, right?
Yeah. That's because that was pretty much the only excitement and offensive output in the whole game. There was a lot. It was dominated by pitchers, so that was kind of boring. But that was my other takeaway. My second takeaway was that speaking from like a fantasy perspective, this is the first time in a few years now that actually from what I can remember where the top end of the draft it's always subjective, right? But like for the first time in a long time, there's not been a lot of consensus. These are the top 5. These are the top 10 guys. I feel like there's been a lot of parity in this class. I mean, I don't want to get into it too much, but we saw right off the top, right? There's supposedly a consensus 1-1 pick fell just because there's just been so much. This class, I think, is just, especially from a fantasy aspect, just a lot of parity in it. I'm not in love with anyone really in this class. I think there was just a lot of guys that are just like meh, just mid players. Obviously, that could change over the next 2 to 4 years, but that's only time will tell on that. But that was one thing I thought about when I was looking at a lot of these draft prospects and the draft itself is that there just really isn't a lot of top end talent in this draft. I think hopefully they'll get proven wrong, but
I'm kind of with you there, especially like, yes, things might change in the next 2 to 4 years. But when you're talking first year player drafts, those are happening in the next, it depends on your league, between now and like January, let's call it. And we'll probably have for first year player draft mock here or something like that. But this is a draft, and this is just me early on looking. Like, again, I couldn't pick any of these guys out of a lineup except for Ethan Holliday, and that's just because he looks like a lesbian. But I think this is a year where you want those, like, late picks. I think you're going to be able to get more value in the 5 to 12 range than the 1 to 5. Like if you have that 1-1, I don't see a generational talent right now. Again, we could see some international guys come over, then this whole conversation could change. Yep. But right now, if you're just picking draft guys, I'm trading out a 1-1 like that as soon as I can, just because I think the value will be there because some people really do just fall in love with these names. And half of these guys, the amount of they're all shortstops. I think there was a point, I forget what pick it was, but they were like, this is the first non-shortstop, non-starting pitcher. And I think it was like in the teens. And it's just so crazy. But yeah, totally with you. I've watched a lot of it, honestly, but it's my least favorite draft. There's no trading. There's too many financial implications for it. Again, like I'm sure we're going to talk about them. But yeah, there was a consensus 1-1. It was not the person that went 1-1. That person wasn't even when they were talking about him, they were just kind of like, yeah, he's fine. He's good. But like, that's not, if you're a Nats fan, that's not what you want to hear. You want to hear Ethan Holliday. You want to hear even Kade Anderson, even Liam Boyle, like just like some names that we can kind of like, honestly, and I know this is wrong. The starting pitcher, he went late for the Phillies.
Well, I don't want to spoil. We're gonna talk about him, but
great, okay. Even him, I would have been like, great, just because it's a name that I've heard of. This 17-year-old, I'm out.
Real quick, shout out everyone's favorite commenter, Uncle Ted's in the chat, throwing down the comments and everything. Got a lot of good points here. A couple things that we missed here. I forgot to tell you some of the future games. JJ Weatherholt did look awesome in that game. Ripped a double. You know who looked really sick was Jonah Tong. I don't know if you saw. We've talked about Jonah Tong many times on this podcast. He is a stud and will be a stud, and I cannot wait. He should be up, I would think, maybe even the end of this year. But shout out Uncle Ted for being here with us. But yeah, I don't want to get too far in some of those guys you're talking about. We are going to talk about those guys here more in depth. But yeah, there was just a weird parody this year. We'll see how that plays out again. But yeah, there was a 1-1 that did not go 1-1. It was kind of shocking. But I don't know. Let's just get into some of this, guys. Some of the stuff here now. I think, like I was talking about, we talked about pre-game here. We're gonna give a little bit of our thoughts on our home team, what they did, and then we'll get into some more of these actual individual players and some of the winners and losers as far as teams and players for this year's. I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off for my team at the Cubs. You kind of mentioned it already about how there was a run of shortstops and pitchers, and there was not one until the teens. That was actually the Chicago Cubs that broke up that streak of a shortstop or a pitcher when they took an outfielder, Ethan Conrad, which I don't want to say I hate the pick, but that's not what I wanted. The Cubs organization right now and the MLB club lacks pitching, and it has for a while now. So I really, really wanted a college pitcher. Quote unquote, someone's team sniped the pick that we were going to take, which I was really hoping would fall to us, did not fall to us. So they went, I think, another way. And then they followed that up again with another outfielder in the second round. I will say, though, they did proceed to go on and draft 13 out of 20 of their picks were pitchers. They hammered the pitchers late in draft. A lot of high upside, probably a lot of signability guys, a lot of high school prep arms, probably just for that main reason, just to get those the signability on those guys, some high upside pitchers. So I did overall, I like their draft from getting a pitcher, trying to get some pitching in this thing, but I really wanted them to target those high end college pitchers, which they did not end up doing. Even the college pitcher they did take in the third round, I'm not superly over in love with. Comes out of Abilene Christian, just not a guy I'm really excited about. But again, time will tell. Overall, again, I didn't hate the draft. Didn't love it either. I think a lot of it too came. This is my theory on why they took these outfielders, these college outfielders at the top end of the draft. Is I think we're gearing up here for a trade of. We already have a surplus of minor league outfielders, so my thought is they're going to trade. Obviously, most likely Owen Cassie or Alcantara, and they're trying to look for some reason somehow to replace those guys in that farm system. So they went ahead and grabbed some of these college outfielder bats. And we've seen Jed do this dating back to when he was underneath Jed Hoyer, when they take one of the better college bats. They've done this forever now. Cam Smith last year, Matt Shaw the year before it. We've seen them take the high upside college bats. So I guess they're kind of not like it's out of the realm, but I really would have liked them to take a college pitcher there in the first round. That's my overall take on the Cubs. I'd love to see what happens here in the next couple weeks with the trade deadline, and if my theory is correct on why they took those college bats. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the Cubs.
It has been a while since we talked. Cubbies doing great.
Yeah, but look at this. They have 57 wins. They're only a game up in the division. This division
the Brewers are streaking too.
I'd be lying if I didn't if I told you I was confident, I'd be lying. I'm a little worried. The pitching, we're still obviously we're out without Justin Steele all year, and we have a bunch of soft tossing pitchers. Cade Horton's looked decent. Doesn't look like he's going to live up quite to the hype this year. We'll see what happens in years to come, but a lot of soft tossers. The bullpen has been decent, obviously. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I'm a little worried. Like I said, we have 57 wins, and which is basically almost the best record in the NL, and we're only a game up on the Brewers. So that's how it's a juggernaut of it. And even the Cardinals are only like 3 or 4 games back. So it's gonna be an interesting second half here.
Yeah, I'm pumped for this. I think this stretch run is going to be great. Have you signed Kyle Tucker yet?
No, I don't think I'm getting as the year goes on. I'm already confident they will not re-sign him until the offseason. There's no way they're going to make some sort of extension in like August. So at this point, we're just going to have to go to the open market and try to outbid people and hope that he likes his time here. Yeah. Best case scenario is we win the World Series.
Yep.
Or come really close to winning the World Series and he wants to run it back. That's our only option at this point.
Yeah, I love that. But so Cubbies are good. Do you know who the hottest team in baseball is, Jason?
Who's that?
The Boston Red Sox. 10 straight going into the All-Star break. We're rolling. It's the Roman Anthony era. We're ready to roll. And as for their draft, much like you, I think they drafted more so to replace the people that are going to move at the deadline. I don't know if we've had a podcast where both of our teams have been in it, but right now it looks like both the Cubs and the Red Sox are going to be buyers at the trade deadline, which is honestly very exciting. So let's go over here. We've got Mr. Kyson Witherspoon, who I'm assuming is the player that you wanted in the draft.
It is, and it's kind of funny you bring that up. I was going to transition from the Boston Red Sox to talk about Kyson Robinson. He was the guy that I want to talk about. Yeah, he was the guy that I was hoping the Cubs would draft at 17.
Yeah, he's got a 5-pitch mix. When he was on the clock. When the Red Sox were on the clock, I had 2 names written down. Kyson Witherspoon was the second name that I wanted. First name was still there. We will talk about the first name later. However, Kyson Witherspoon, great player. This whole draft class, how many pitchers did you say the Cubs drafted?
13.
Red Sox drafted 15. 15 of their 20 picks were pitchers. And I want to say 9 of them were SEC pitchers.
Yeah.
Just craziness on this board. But I think it's kind of because I think they're going to be making deals at this deadline. I think they do have a few pitching prospects that I think other teams will like. And I think this is kind of to help replenish that. My favorite pick, though, not their top pick. It's actually their 3rd rounder, number 87 overall, Mr. Anthony Edison. Yep. I'm not saying it correctly, but from LSU. Again, this is just a matter of I put on an LSU game once, and this happened to be the guy pitching, and he was great. So, Uncle Ted, let's go. So he's someone that I'm actually really excited for. I'm excited for all of them. I think my hot take here, which could be dumb, because let's not forget I said to not draft Kyle Raleigh at some point in the last 6 months. I think we might see Kyson Witherspoon in Boston for the playoff run out of the pen. I think that's something that could happen. We saw Chris Sale did it at one point. I'm sure the Angels have probably did it at one point. But so definitely excited for all the arms they got. Being completely honest, don't really know pretty much anyone else that they picked. Saw a couple of highlights of Christian Fauch a relief pitcher. I mean, a right-handed pitcher from Arkansas who is a relief pitcher. Seems like a demon on the mound. All in on that. So Kyson Witherspoon, a nice five pitch mix. The ESPN people were gushing about the pick, unsure if that's good or not because ESPN, I don't know. MLB Network. It is so hard to just find good television for baseball outside of a baseball game. Like Harold Reynolds, like why are you still a thing? Like
I know. They have Dan O'Dowd on there too. Who's like a failed GM. It's like
it's just we need better MLB personalities. And again, this is off topic. Like Pat McAfee was on the fucking home run derby.
Yeah, that was weird.
He's fine. He's not Chris Berman. Give me Chris Berman. What do you got on Mr. Kyson Witherspoon, Chase?
Yeah, no, like I said, I really wanted the Cubs to snag him. I thought it was going to happen. He got snagged 2 picks in front of us. But I just really liked what I saw from Kyson here at Oklahoma. He in his career in college, he had 175 innings pitched, 214 strikeouts, which was good enough for a little over 11 Ks per 9, a career 3.14 ERA, and a 1.17 WHIP career. He's got a really nice changeup that I really like. I think he generally has a nice upside of an SP2, especially when you get him around that GM and Andrew Bailey. I think we've seen it time and time again, Boston be able to develop these pitchers, not only just develop them, but identify really solid pitching prospects and develop them really nicely. I would, I really like what I've seen out of Kyson Witherspoon. I really like the landing spot in Boston. I don't know if he'll be there this year, but definitely next year. I think he definitely gets a shot. Just because I think the Boston's got a really nice surplus of pitchers right now. I don't think they need to rush Kyson up there, but I really like this pick. I like the landing spot. He's definitely one of the winners, and so is Boston's one of the winners. I think they did a really nice job of drafting, getting those like I said, those top 3 picks were huge, man. You get Kyson Witherspoon. You go. Honestly, you go 3 straight college players, 2 pitchers in the shortstop. They're really good. I really liked what they got out of, like I said, Kyson Witherspoon, and then also to fall down and get Anthony Aison in the 3rd round is another steal. Boston was a huge winner for me. I really like what they've continued. I mean, it's not just this year. Boston, as we've seen in the past, has always done a really good job of identifying talent and drafting well. They always have in the last 2 decades, we'll say. I just really like what they did. So I think Kyson Witherspoon kind of headlines that draft, and Boston really, congrats to Boston. They really did a good job. We'll see how it pans out in the next couple of years.
Yeah, and honestly, something that I didn't even think about till just now, it wouldn't surprise me if Kyson Witherspoon gets traded at this trade deadline. Give me some Joe Ryan here, and you can have Kyson. You can have fucking anybody for Joe Ryan at this point,
right?
So yeah, I'm interested to see the kind of just like how because I've never seen them draft so many college people. So I'm curious to how quickly this moves up, because usually we're seeing like Roman Anthony was a high school kid. Tristan Cassis was a high school kid. Marcelo Mayer was a high school kid. Like it's very much kind of just like a new approach, which honestly I'm excited to see, just because we're not going to have to wait 4 years to see the fruits of this draft to come to fruition.
Right.
So definitely interested to see how that goes.
They took 1 high school player, and that was until the 19th round.
Yeah, Fabian.
I mean, they took a JUCO player, but you can't really. He's a JUCO player as a college player. So yeah, they went super college heavy this year, probably to fit more in their timeline. I think they're kind of seeing their win now window open. The Garrett Crochet extension, Marcelo Mayer's here, Roman Anthony's here, Christian Campbell's here, or at least it was. Yeah, but yeah, I think they're kind of lining up a lot of these picks with their timeline, their winning window right now. So I was like what Boston did. All right, before we get any further here, let's go do a little bit of business. Right now, we're talking about MLB draft, and right now, pretty much from now until we'll call it February is FYPD draft season. We're going to have a ton of FYPD stuff coming out on the site. You got to get access to that by becoming a member today. I know we're going to get some rankings up there in the next couple days. Tons of great value. We also have fantasy football coming up right around the corner. We got all those rankings, all this great content on fantasysixpack.net. Get access to it, become a member today. fantasysixpack.net/plans. And you get access to all that great content. Well, I think it's maybe time we start to talk about maybe the elephant in the room. That's Ethan Holliday, the Colorado Rockies. That's right. Not of the Washington Nationals, of the Colorado Rockies. A lot of speculation going into the draft. Everyone, rightfully so. I think Ethan Holliday had a little bit more of a safer pick and a little bit more of a floor, shall we say, just because of his pedigree and his bloodline. However, the landing spot of Colorado, not a win for me. I would much rather see him go to any other team than the Rockies, just because of what we've seen over the years past, of what Colorado's done with their prospects. Have we seen a top-tier talent come out of Colorado in the last 10 years? I know Jordan Beck now is up, playing decent, but they've just been a wasteland of prospects and top-tier talent in the Rocky system. So for that reason, I want to say Ethan Holliday is a bit of a loser right now. I'm sure in his eyes he's not, because he gets to go back to a team that his dad became famous on. But obviously the pedigree and the bloodlines there for Holliday, just returns to a place where it's not really going to be great for him. I'm really hoping this is an outlier and he kind of breaks that cycle, because I love the kid. I love the outlook on him. But him going to Colorado and him not going 1-1 or 1-2 or 1-3 does say a lot about his future outlook in this league.
Yeah, I thought it would have been cool for him to be in DC just because it would have been so close to Baltimore. Like that, like seeing them kind of play around each other, him and Jackson. I'm not as upset about the landing spot. Yes, it isn't great because the Rockies are kind of inept. But hey, at least he's not a pitcher.
Right.
So we might be able to see, because he's 6'4", 200 pounds. Like that's
right.
He's built. So
Yep.
I'm definitely interested to see how this pans out. If we drafted today, I'd probably pick him 1-1. But again, like I said, I would trade down. Mm-hmm. Very interested in how he's ranked. The next set of rankings that come out for prospects wise.
Yeah.
My brain says like top 40. Like, again, he's not this generational guy. Like usually we see like the 1-1, and again, he wasn't 1-1, but he's the 1-1 in this scenario of like actual player rankings. We see that guy kind of like go in the top 20. And I think it's kind of showing that he'll probably end up being in that 30 to 40 range, maybe 25 if you're like really grasping at straws, but also we're going to have some guys that are graduating. So that's going to leave some spots open. So definitely interested to see where he lands. Obviously the power is it's plus power on cores is great, but you know what? I don't know. Like, it's so hard because he's so young. And obviously the first pick being, this is also another problem with the MLB draft, is it's financially based. So like, if it wasn't financially based, would Washington have picked him? Is my right. Like, that's where I need to be thinking, because, or did they see something? Because I don't know who is the second one.
Bremner.
Oh yes, like it was that money based. No, they just didn't like the player. Right. So I'm curious to see where things go with him. It's tough because he is that shortstop. He's not going to be a shortstop. He's going to play third base. He's too big. Is he Nolan Arenado? That'd be cool.
Right.
But he also could be Ryan McMahon, which again is fine. But I don't know. It's just too much risk for me to draft him, so I'm trading up.
Yeah. I was going to ask you later on we'll hold it who your 1-1 would be, but yeah, I was going to mention too the Eli Willits thing is definitely that was definitely a money thing. They want to get an underslot player there, which is again, I think they need to get rid of the slot value, and because this is why teams don't trade, or for one, they're not allowed to trade picks, but two, I think one of the reasons why they don't want them because they have this money and slot value tied to these picks. Whereas if the Washington didn't want to take Ethan Holliday in future or make it more interesting, they could trade down from 1-1, right? But you can't do that in MLB, so that's another reason why. You don't want to pay for 1-1, then fine. Don't pay 1-1, trade down, and then you don't have to pay the 1-1 spot. But I think for sure the Willits pick was definitely a money thing, but we'll talk more about that when we get into Willits. But let's go on to the next guy here. Something that I'm actually really excited about, and that's Kade Anderson. Not only because the talent's there. He was obviously being talked about even a possibly 1-1 if they didn't want to go Ethan Holliday, then probably go Kade Anderson. There was a lot of rumors leading up to the draft that they were going to go Kade Anderson at 1-1, but ultimately falls to Seattle at 3rd, which is crazy because this is this is the best spot for Kade Anderson to fall. We're talking about a team that is just oozing with player and pitching development. They get yet another stud in this, and this time from the lefty. He's a lefty, so now they get another insane pitching prospect to add to their bullpen. That's what I was looking for. I was going to call it the herd, but I was like their stable of arms. Is probably the most pro-ready pitcher in the draft, and I wouldn't be shocked. We talked about Witherspoon getting up with Boston. I wouldn't be shocked if Kade Anderson gets into Seattle in this month later, in about a month or two. If not in September, for sure next season, barring any sort of injury or anything like that. But I could see them making some room for him, somehow trading one of their pitchers, getting him in the rotation. In 2025, so he only logged 119 innings this season and got 180 Ks, which is good enough for almost a 14 K per 9. He had a 105 whip and a 3.18 ERA. LSU was obviously one of the premier programs going into the World Series. Kade Anderson's everything I want. If pitching wasn't so volatile, I'd probably take him 1-1 over Ethan Holliday in a first-year player draft. But I usually don't take pitchers that high in first-year player drafts. But for a safe pitcher, he's definitely a top 5 first-year player draft pick for sure. Someone will take him in the top 5.
Oh, 1,000%. Could not have picked a better landing spot. But when I was watching, and how it has in the bottom ticker, there's the team names, and I said, Seattle was that bad last year? It's nuts. But yeah, absolute pitching factory. If I'm buying stock, it's in the Mariners because they're going to be able to move one of these arms. And it's going to be for an impact bat, which is what they've been searching for all offseason here in Boston. We heard they want Tristan Casas. The Red Sox wanted Brian Wu, which in the grand scheme of things at that time,
right,
where both players were at, you were like, okay, that seems fair.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
Now, yeah, I don't. I would have to go with the doctor by now, Jason. Because
Can you imagine having Wu, Crochet, Brian Bayo?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's all you need to say. That's it. Game over. Yeah. But alas, we are not. We are here. But let's talk about Cade. Cade, I know you said we're going to talk about it later. Cade would be my 1-1. Paul Skeens and Chase Burns have completely changed the way I look at pitching when it comes to pitching prospects. When you have that top of the line guy, which I believe Kade Anderson is, you pick him, especially in this draft. This draft, there is no bats out there that I'm like, oh my God, I need this. And honestly, I think I might like Cade more than I liked Chase Burns last year at that point, just as like
yeah.
a pitcher, like post draft, looking at some things. So
Same.
Cade's my guy. Perfect place. I think on the broadcast of the draft, he was like, "Yeah, Logan Gilbert already called me," and I was like, "This is fantastic." So yeah, all in on Kade Anderson.
And just a little tidbit here. He's already had Tommy John, so I mean, I know
Beautiful.
you're not exempt from a second Tommy John, but getting one already, kind of like softens the blow. If you're gonna draft a pitcher high, your worst fear is that he goes to the minors, pitches like 100 innings, and has to get Tommy John. Now you're without a pitcher for the next year and a half. But he's already had Tommy John once, so hopefully that's in the rear view, and he's got a full bill of health going forward. So yeah, another reason to consider Kade Anderson in the top half of your first year player draft.
You can't have 2 Tommy John surgeries without having one.
Exactly. All right, we're going to jump into another guy here. Someone that I think is worth noting. I don't know if he's necessarily a top-tier prospect, but I think he's a big winner. Caden Bodine, catcher for Baltimore Orioles. Love the player. Love the landing spot. Baltimore gets yet just another top-hitting prospect and the best catcher in the class. Not only the best catcher in the class, probably one of the better catchers defensively we've seen from a framing aspect, from all of that. Just an elite defender. He obviously is more of a defensive catcher than he is of a hitter, but we've seen in his college career that he's been able to not just hit, but hit with really good success. In his college career, Coastal Carolina, he slashed .337, .440, slugged .528, which is good enough for .968 OPS. He's got a really solid approach at the plate with above-average bat-to-ball skills. He even had success with a wooden bat because in his career at the Cape Cod League, he hit for .343 with an .863 OPS. So he's got experience hitting with a wood bat. My thought, I have no insight on any of this. My thought is in the near future, Adley Rutschman moves to first. Cade Bodine comes in and catches for the Orioles because Bodine is a better defensive catcher than Adley Rutschman, which says a lot because I think that's not taking anything away from Adley, but Bodine I think will be a better defensive catcher in the future for Baltimore. So I really loved the pick. I love the landing spot. Again, this is not somebody that I'm targeting, and probably not even in the first 10 picks of a first-year player draft. But if you have like a late-round pick or an early second, I'm curious to see. We don't really have a lot of first-year player draft ADP info to go on. I'm curious to see where consensus has Bodine. I can't imagine it's very high. So, if you're late first, early second, I'm sure somewhere around there you can probably target a Bodine. But I love the landing spot.
Yeah, so you called him a big winner. I'm going to call the big loser here Adley Rutschman.
Okay.
Because this has been disastrous. We're talking someone 2 years ago that was being picked like top 10 as a catcher. That's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I'm trying to think of just where, like, if we drafted today, I don't know where he would even go. Like, what number catcher would he be? I think there's like 5 catchers I can just off the top of my head pick before I would pick him. So, and I think the Orioles also kind of feel that way. From an inside source with the Orioles, Adley Rutschman, not the best worker.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of talk around Camden, and they're saying he might not have the best attitude, which is kind of crazy because that's not something I would expect from like the All-American catcher,
Yeah.
So this definitely, I'm someone that avoids catching prospects like the plague just because we see Carlos Narvaez come out of nowhere this year for the Red Sox, and he's been great. But again, any prospect with some sort of buzz is good, and I do think this is a prospect that will get some buzz, so definitely worth the investment, especially like you said, with the capital you're going to spend on him. It won't be a first-round pick. honestly, it might not even be a second. Like you
True.
might be able to get him a little bit later.
Yeah.
But yeah, with you.
Yeah, it's
Fun
kind of.
fact
Oh, go ahead.
about Coastal Carolina.
Okay.
One of their pitchers was a bat boy on a team that I coached.
Oh, that's a very fun fact. That for sure.
It is a fun fact.
Also, what does it go to tell you about Adley Rutschman when Baltimore? I know again, this is not whatever they played in college doesn't mean they're going to play this in the majors or minors for that matter. But what does it tell you about Adley when Baltimore double taps catcher to start the draft? They took Ike Irish with the 19th overall pick in the first round, who was the catcher.
Yeah, nuts. And I don't, again, like you said, I don't think I don't know if Ike Irish is going to be a catcher, but
Right.
he's someone that I did a lot of research on just because he was a name that I wanted the Red Sox to draft as well. Just because that like tier of players.
Yep.
But yeah, two catchers, like Adley's got to be kind of shaking in his boots at this point, especially with how bad the Orioles have been.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's a disaster over there.
Yeah. All right, we still got a few more players here, so let's get through some of these guys. There's not really too much to talk about with this guy. It's worth mentioning Eli Willits, obviously the 1-1. You know what this reminds me of?
It's worth mentioning the first pick.
Yeah. You know what it reminds me a lot of? And I thought about this in the years, like looking at the previous years' drafts. This screams Mickey Moniak 100% all over again. And that I want to look up that draft because he was not the consensus 1-1. He goes 1-1 and he's just become a bust. I'm not going to say Willits is going to be a bust. Obviously, I can't say that for sure.
This draft is so bad. Hold on, I'm just
okay.
going to nail
it. Is this the draft of Mickey Moniak? Okay.
Yep. So Moniak, no.
Yep.
Nick Senzel.
Nothing.
He got vertigo and never came back.
Yeah.
Ian Anderson, nope. Riley Pint.
Wow.
I think he retired.
Yeah.
Corey Ray. I was obsessed with Corey Ray.
Brewers, right? Brewers.
AJ Puck. Sure.
Yep. Right now, he's consensus 1-1 in that draft.
Kyle Lewis went 11. Another guy.
The centerpiece of the Yelich deal.
I'm going to continue to do this because this is funny. The Red Sox, Jason Groom.
Wow.
That was a name.
It almost makes it seem like the Mickey Moniak pick wasn't that bad, actually.
Dude, honestly, Gavin Lux was late that round. He's probably I think Gavin Lux, like if we were to do like the redraft.
Yeah.
Carter
He'd
Kaboom.
probably be the 1-1. Him or Puck.
Oh, Reagan's.
Okay. Yeah, he'd be 1-1.
Reagan's went 30. So and Will Smith went 32.
Okay. But yeah,
wow.
That's kind of what this pick reminds me of. Again, I'm not going to say, I can't say what he's going to be, but still not even 18 years old yet. I thought I saw somewhere he was one of the youngest players ever drafted, 1-1. It's something by days. Like he's only 17 years old. Like he's turning 18 really shortly. But anyways, he was the 1-1. It was a shock. I was watching the draft live, and I was like expecting to hear Ethan Holliday, Kade Anderson, and they're like, Washington Nationals select Eli Willits. So that's what I thought about that. And everyone, even the commenters on MLB Network were just like, I mean, they were like, again, subjective at the top of the draft and more so than ever this year. But yeah, I don't have much to say about Willits other than it was a shock to me, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it was a shock to DraftKings as well because it was Ethan Holliday, Kade Anderson, any other player. those were your three options. And
that's how subjective this draft
was. Plus 500 or something, which isn't that crazy, but still.
Yeah, that's how subjective this was. So, all right, we're going from the 1-1 to the 1-2. And then it's Tyler Bremner, pitcher for the Los Angeles Angels. Another shocking pick. You still have Kade Anderson on the board and Ethan Holliday on the board, and they instead go with Tyler Bremner. Again, it wasn't an awful pick for the player, but when you have those other guys on the board, it was just weird that they took and passed on those guys and took Tyler Bremner. He does have high-end velocity and a great changeup. He got drafted by the Angels, who we've seen in the past. It was
he'll be
running track record of the top
prospect.
I wouldn't even be surprised if he's up, next week. Look at down the list of the last few drafts. Christian Moore, Zach Neto, Nathan Chenal. Even Reed Detmers a couple years ago made his debut like the next season or that same season. However, talking about Reed Detmers and pitching prospects, I can't put any faith in this organization of developing pitching. They can identify good pitching, right? Detmers was like a late first, and he came up. He's throwing a no-hitter in the majors, but just cannot develop him and keep him on track of being a consistent pitcher. So, I mean, again, I don't know what the ADP in this guy would be, but that's not someone I'm targeting it. And probably, unless it's like, and somehow he falls to me like late second or something, middle second.
Yeah. This might be surprising to you. This is going to be a take. I think my top 5 players, if I were to do FYP, for first year player draft rankings, my top 5 are all pitchers. I love all of the pitchers in this draft compared to the hitters. So I would be taking him top 3 just because, one, as we stated, the Angels, I would rather find out that this kid sucks in a year than sit on a prep shortstop that might be good.
Right.
Great. Also, just great story for this kid too. Sad, but also great. So definitely rooting for him. But yeah, my top 5 is pitchers, and I think I need to expose that when it comes to first year play drafts because everyone avoids them. So I think looking at those mid-tier picks might be where my bread and butter is.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep talking about the pitchers then. I know we were talking about this earlier. Gage Wood is who we were talking about.
Yeah, Gage Wood, man.
Goes 26th to the Philadelphia Phillies and falls far. He was like a consensus was like, maybe a top 10 pick, falls all the way to 26. Now, I think a lot of that is due to the injury concerns and just the lack of experience even at the college level. He did do a lot of high leverage innings as a freshman and sophomore. He was Arkansas's closer as a freshman. So he does have a little bit of experience in those late inning roles. They finally moved him into the starting rotation in 2025. However, that's when all the injuries started and he didn't really get to log many innings. And he's only got 37 innings pitched this year. But yeah, the talent's there. I mean, he's got a really nice strikeout upside, high-end velocity, really nice curveball and changeup. So if you're banking on like a team that can like develop and turn this guy into a stud, then I think you should be all in on Gage Wood because he has definitely got the talent to be at least middle of the rotation guy as long as he can stay healthy. I think injury is going to be the biggest concern with Gage Wood.
Yeah, this is again kind of just my ignorance. I don't know if I just loved him because if he didn't throw that 19 strikeout no hitter, I don't know if I know who this guy is. But he did. So he was on my radar. So he's definitely someone I'm interested in. I think he might be someone that gets overdrafted in first year player drafts strictly because of those of the no hitter. But
and the upside. The upside's there. So
the upside's there. The injuries are there too, though. I trust Philly, honestly. I think I don't want to say they're great development pitchers just because, like, who have they developed? But, like, Andrew Painter seems to be a thing. He's been struggling recently, but, like.
Mick Abel.
Mick Abel as well. Yeah. So excited about it. Again, we have these college pitchers. I think schemes changed the game. I don't remember seeing all of these college pitchers get drafted in the first round before schemes. And
like you said, Chase Burns too. Chase Burns was been up this year too, so it's only like.
I think it's just kind of it's like that. Do you remember that stretch where people were like, "Let's not draft running backs"? There was just a point in the NFL draft that they were just like, "You know what? No, like we're all just not drafting running backs till the third round."
Yep.
And now it's one of those trends that's just like, you know what? Let's just throw darts at pitching. Let's get as many pitchers as we can. and then we'll trade for or develop hitting.
Yeah.
So definitely interested in Gage Wood. Probably like a second round grade for me, maybe third. But again, he's definitely worth the risk is worth the reward.
Yeah. Like I'm interested 100% on Gage Wood, but I'm not taking him at the top half of the draft or even probably the late half of the first round either. If he falls to me, I'm 100% taking him. But he's one of those pitchers that's like, yeah, big risk, big reward. All right, we got another guy here, another pitcher we're going to talk about. Like I said, seems to be the year where the pitching was really taking a shining in this draft. That's Seth Hernandez. There were rumors that Seth Hernandez was even going to go to Seattle at 3. But I think those rumors were that Kade Anderson wasn't going to be there at 3. So with Kade Anderson still being there at 3, I think Seattle ultimately took Kade Anderson over Seth Hernandez. But again, another just insane landing spot. Love the landing spot for Seth Hernandez. If I'm going to have any other team develop my pitchers other than Seattle, it's Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has shown the knack for last 2 decades now of identifying and developing starting pitching talent. I mean, I can go down the list, but the list would take me in the next 20 minutes to go through.
Yeah.
So they can definitely, develop these pitchers, which gives me a ton of hope for Hernandez. He's already got a really nice, solid frame. He's only 18 years old and he's already 6'4". He's got a really nice above-average velocity on the fastball. It's even touched triple digits as an 18-year-old. Pairs that well with a really nice curveball and changeup. He's been really above average almost. There's a lot to not like about Seth Hernandez.
Yeah. So actually, I'm writing down my top 5 just to.
Oh, okay.
Go over it after.
Yeah. I'll do this. I'll do this while you talk.
Seth Hernandez is my number 2. A high school arm. Who am I, Jason? I have no idea. I'm a psychopath. That's who I am. I'm like Kevin Costner in draft day, where he's like, I am a psycho. I'm crazy. That is me going into this draft. I came into this episode being like, I don't love this draft. Now I'm like, I love every one of these pitchers. I'm going to get 5 picks in the first round. It just draft 5 pitchers in a row. The upside here is crazy. I saw a report. I don't think it's actually going to happen, but I guess Seth Hernandez also can swing the stick. So I don't know if there's actually a two-way avenue here, but he's definitely someone I'm keeping my eye on. The Pirates can develop pitchers, man. I mean, Skeens, I don't give them credit for Skeens at this point because he was kind of like a ready-made guy, but we're seeing a lot of these other, like Jared Jones was somewhat unknown at one point. Mitch Keller, again, like somewhat of a known commodity, but they're going to have almost like Seattle and Pittsburgh are teams that I'm going to circle if they draft a pitcher. Again, they're a disaster of an organization, but they sure know how to draft pitchers. So I'm definitely excited for this pick in particular.
Nice. I love it. All right, yeah, that's all the name of the guy for now. A couple honorable mentions that I wanted to call out for some picks that I liked in the first round that you can kind of look for in your first year player draft. Jojo Parker of Toronto. I think he's going to be a really nice piece. I have him, spoiler, in my top 5. I like the Aviva Arquette pick. Not quite sure how the power translates into the major league game, but very solid approach to the plate. Very nice bat to ball skills. I really like that pick. Real quickly, I know it's a homer pick, but the Ethan Conrad could be a sleeper pick for your first year player draft. He went 17th overall, not highly rated, but we've seen those kind of bats develop in the Cubs system. It's looked really well. And Zach Root, the one of the last picks of the first round for the Dodgers. Dodgers, the rich get richer. I like that pick as well. Curious to see where what his ADP becomes. But those are some honorable mentions. We didn't really have time to get to some of those guys. Before we get out of here, though, we got to let's go down. I was going to do who's your 1-1, but let's go your top 5 knee-jerk reactions. Draft been over for a day. Who is your top 5 right now? If you were doing a first-year player draft tomorrow.
Yeah, easy. All right, number 1 for me, Kade Anderson, starting pitcher. Number 2, Seth Hernandez, starting pitcher. Number 3, Liam Boyle, starting pitcher. Number 4, Tyler Bremner, starting pitcher. Number 5, Kyson Witherspoon, starting pitcher.
I mean,
And
I
Witherspoon
laugh.
is probably an overdraft, but that's just because I'm a homer and I would do that.
I laugh, but I got a lot of overlap in those picks, and I do have. Let's see, I have 3 pitchers. My top 5. I'm still go. If I got the 1-1, I'm still going Ethan Holliday. Just too safe of a pick. Super low floor. It seems to me to be the safest pick. So if I got the 1-1, that's what I'm going Ethan Holliday. 1-2, I'm going JoJo Parker. I think he's got a really nice bat. We'll see what happens in Toronto's organization, but he's my 1-2. Kade Anderson 3, Liam Doyle 4, Kyson Witherspoon 5.
Nice.
I might bump some of those pitchers up, but I still tend to lead to the safety of batters.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for a draft, man.
Yeah, it's the best part about sometimes, right?
It is, you know.
Yep. All right, that's going to do it for this week's episode. Love the knee-jerk reactions on the MLB draft. Well, I'm sure we'll get into some of these guys as we get, do a little more deep dive on some of these prospects. And we got some more things coming up for you here. Still got a whole couple months of baseball left. So we'll talk next time, Nick.
All right, Jason, one thing. No run, first inning, all-star game. You're welcome.
What's the odds on it?
Minus 175.
Are you
It's
serious?
not bad.
I was just delaying so I could find. The Knicks picks. All right, you heard it here first. Knicks picks.
Yeah. No run, first inning.
Yep.
That's it.
Minus 175.